Hey folks, it's Kurt from WhiteTAILS Deer Hunting, and today I'm going to show you guys how I pack my scouting pack to get ready to get out in the woods and find new places to hunt. What's up folks? First thing I do is I get started when I'm touching all my scouting gear is I spray my hands down. Whether it's with my ozone bottle that I have here, or whether it's my scent killer gold that I have, one of the two I always have in my bag, especially when I'm touching stuff like my SD card case, paracord that's going to attach cameras, any straps that are going to be out there eventually when I put tree stands up, or especially my trail cameras. So I always get my hands sprayed off the first thing I do before I get started. I want to go through with you guys today what I take on a typical scouting trip. This would be a trip anytime during the year that's not including putting up tree stands a couple weeks before season starts. One of the best things that I have right here is I've got an internal frame backpack that's really comfortable. It's got padded shoulders, it's got a padded waistband, and it's got pockets all over the place so I can separate my gear so that if I need to get to some stuff, I don't have to dig all the way to the bottom of the backpack. If it's something that I need quite often, I'll put right here in this front pouch. If it's something I'm only going to need once or twice, I'll bury it either in this top compartment here or the bottom compartment that you see there. A couple other important things on the backpack you take a look at. I've got solid side pouches. One side pouch I always put my water bottle in, and the other side pouch I'm going to put either my ozone bottle or I'm going to put my scent killer gold in so that it's right there when I need it out in the field, especially when spraying boots, getting near a scrape, or setting out a trail camera. Along with that, I've got a nice lunch bag I take to put snacks and other food in there so it's separated from the other stuff in my backpack. And then as I go through all this equipment, I'm not going to go through it in any specific order, but hopefully I'm going to cover everything that I have in here that you guys might need. Obviously, this probably isn't a total comprehensive list. I'm sure there's some things you guys put in your packs that I don't put in mine, but at least this gives you guys an idea if you're just a beginning hunter and you're going out to scout, some of the things you need to have when you get in the field, because the worst thing is to be out in the field, be 45-minute drive from your house, be a mile out in the woods and get ready to do something like putting up a trail camera and not having paracord to strap it on, or not having batteries to replace, and the camera you're out in the middle of the woods trying to check, the batteries are dead. So hopefully this is going to give you guys some help to get you guys started. I've got both batteries that are lithium for my cellular cameras, and I also have regular batteries, alkaline, for all my other non-cellular SD card cameras. I've got my sticks that you see over there. I've got the Tethered 1 sticks. I've got 3 of them, and they're stealth stripped, and I have aiders on them. So if I want to get up into a tree to put a camera 7.5 or 8 feet tall, or I actually want to crawl up to 3 sticks to see about where my hang-on is going to be later when I come back to hunt in October, I can use these sticks to get up there, and I can tie a piece of yarn around the tree to give me an idea of the exact height I need when I come in on a dark morning in October or November. TP, it's a must, gotta have it. Trail camera that you see right there, I've already got a cable lock on it and some paracord. I like to use the paracord much better than typical straps because the paracord is much more difficult for not only deer but also humans to see. I've got a Bota bag or a water bag that I have right there for days that we're out all day long. I also have yarn that I take out in the woods, and the whole purpose of this is to put it up in front of one of my trail cameras on video mode so that I can tell the exact wind direction at a certain date and time. Even though the Weather Channel may say it's generally a southwest wind in that time, you may be in a canyon, you may be on the top of a ridge, there may be swirling winds. At least with having a yarn in front of this, you can see in the video what direction the wind is actually blowing on a certain date and time. I can't claim this. I got this from Troy Pottinger hunting out in Idaho. He actually uses old man's beard to do the same thing. So thanks, Troy. I stole that idea from you. I always have an extra cable lock, and I've got a couple of padlocks right here that I use on my boxes for my Tacticam cellular trail cameras. I always carry paracord out there for my cameras. If you take a look here, you'll see that I have a case for all of my SD cards. I've got about 25 cameras that are out right now or will be out in the very near future. If you take a look, each one of them is numbered. For example, if you take a look at this one that says Tacticam 1 right here, that camera, I have 2 identical SD cards. So when I pull one SD card out to take home and take a look at stuff on the computer, I'm putting the exact same SD card back in that camera, and it tends to help cameras run a little bit more smoothly and prevents them from jamming up. So I've got all my SD cards that I carry in that box right there. I've got all my keys on this key ring right here, a real bright key ring. I have dropped this thing before, red and yellow, it's easy to come back to. But these are all the keys that not only go to the locks on my trail cameras and also the padlocks, but these are also keys that I use when I chain up some of my tree stands when I put them out on public land in September. Here is a portable charger, which is absolutely essential to have out in the field. If I didn't have that, I started to run low on battery, then it's just a pain in the butt turning the camera on and off. And if you look, I use Onyx as my online mapping program so that it helps me plot out paths that I want to scout, hikes that I want to take, mark scrapes, mark places I put trail cameras, deer trails, other people's cell cameras or tree stands that I find. Anything that I think is important goes in this Onyx. And I use the notes a ton so that I can go back at a later time and look at the notes. And let's say, for example, I chose a tree stand location where I want to go 3 sticks high. I want to sit in the north facing part of the tree and hunt it in a north or northwest wind. I'll write all this information in my notes. So when I get ready to go out and hunt that day, I'll look at the notes for that tree stand and it reminds me exactly what I'm going to be doing when I get out there that morning and all the equipment that I'm going to need to hunt that day. I always take out a headlamp and a lighter and an extra knife just in case I get stuck out there. This is going to be my first year using buck fever synthetics, and I'll use the buck fever forehead gland to spray on the licking branches above the scrape, and then the buck fever pre and post rut to go ahead and spray into the scrape. And this is my magic tool right here. It's an old garden weasel that broke, and I fashioned a handle onto it and a cord to attach to my backpack, and I use this to go ahead and dig up the soil prior to putting the pre and post rut in there. I found that the metal tends to keep my scent out of the actual scrape itself, and I don't end up using a stick that I grab with my hand and then throw to the side. So this thing's great right here, and I put it right on the outside of my backpack so it's not in the backpack jamming me in the back. Now I always keep a knife on my belt for just in case. It's really not for protection against bears and coyotes. It's really for me when I'm out in the field if I need to cut paracord or anything else that I might need while I'm working out there. I always carry some extra paracord with me, usually not this big roll, but I'll roll up a big ball and put it in a Ziploc bag. I've got a rag to go ahead and clean either my camera lenses or my trail cameras before I put them out, and then always have bug spray, and I also have for some permethrin spray to prevent ticks from getting into my pant cuffs or down my shirt or anywhere else. So if you take a look, for the most part, this is everything that I take when I do one of my scouting trips without going ahead and setting up tree stands. 2 other things that I do carry with me are my lineman's belt and also my harness. And the biggest reason I have those is not necessarily putting a trail camera up 7.5 or 8 feet, but if I decide I'm going to go 3 sticks up and I'm going to tie a piece of yarn onto the tree at the point where I'm going to be putting the base of my hang-on stand when I go back and hunt in the fall, it's nice to have a little added safety by wrapping up with the harness and the lineman's belt. If I'm going out in the fall with tree stands, I've always got an extra couple of straps that go with me in case one of mine isn't working. And other than that, you pretty much see what I take when I head out in the field. So these are the basics of what I have. Obviously, it's not all encompassing. I probably missed some stuff that you guys carry, but for the most part, I've got it down pat after 3 or 4 years now, and very rarely am I out in the field and I'm missing batteries or I don't have TP to go to the bathroom or something else like that. So it's important to have everything there so it makes your life easier. If you're going to take the time to drive there, to walk out there and do some work in the field, it's much nicer to have everything right at your fingertips so you can get your work done and you can stay out of those woods as much as possible so you don't leave your scent there. This is Kurt from WhiteTAILS Deer Hunting. Hoping you guys learned something today. Please continue to watch this how-to hunt series that I'm beginning right here as I try to explain things that I do every day. For the most part, it's going to help those people that are new to hunting, but I'm sure anybody else that is also hunting as well. There's always tips of the trade that we all steal from each other because the hunting community is always a close-knit group and people are more than willing to share. It's great when you end up helping somebody out and they get back in touch with you and talk to you about their success. Okay guys, it's Kurt from WhiteTAILS Deer Hunting. Hoping you have a great day. See you.